So good afternoon and welcome to our presentation. After 2 days, I really appreciate you staying on until the end, so thank you very much. So, our talk is all about implementing machine intelligence for increasing human productivity. And really, this is a long subject, but we're trying to condense it down into 20 minutes. So if I do it right, we should end up in about 15 minutes with plenty of time for questions. So we've got 3 essential questions. So why do we want to do this? What do we want to do? And how do we want to do it? So why? There's an awful lot of reasons why, but generally they will be different for most companies. So a lot of reasons would be to use it as a showcase for your own company. But generally it's all about profitability. So if you can increase the bottom line, the profit pulls through the whole organisation. So do it better. Generally, you want to improve the quality of your product so you do not create quality issues. So once the product has left your facility, it is always more expensive to try and rework or fix the issue. So we want to do it right first time. Do it faster, so produce more quicker. So that may mean introducing new machinery, but try to understand where you are presently and trying to give a reason for investing. Do more with less. So we all want to do more, sell more products with less, but it doesn't necessarily mean less people. In the 1960s, the third industrial revolution, unemployment was about 1.5% to 2.5%. But it is estimated that roughly less than 1/3 of women worked. So taking that into account, the overall employment rate has actually risen since the dawn of automation. So what? For example, lean principles have a simple method that can be used to ensure that you are focusing in the right areas. So there are 2 main categories. One is the obvious one, those which add value, and really the second category is quite obvious as well, everything else. So focus on the ones which add value. So the wins. Particularly if you're investing in intelligence as a retrofit, you aren't going to be able to do everything at once. So you need to focus on something that is actually going to give you the most benefit quickly. And then you've got to have a method for actually measuring your success. Because generally there is a reason for doing it in the first place. If you can't measure it, how do you know it's been a success? So we all know what the effect is. So downtime, poor decision making, high costs, and maybe the lack of capability within your product or process. But you want to know the cause of that effect. So process backlogs, poorly defined management information, or just good old human error. But you can't necessarily measure the impact. So really what you want to do is to look for the warning signs before the actual cause or the effect happens. And it may not be a direct measure. What you need to do is to think around the solution or think around the problem and try to understand what other methods you have that could be for free or low cost you could implement to see where you are in the process. So as a simple example that's trying to be a bit agnostic away from the detail, most processes have raw materials. These raw materials are somehow got together and end up within a value-added process. At the end of that process, you have a finished product or finished products. So during the process, wastage will generally be accumulated. Then after the process, before the finished product is passed, most processes will have rejects. If you implement sensors or some kind of indication about where you are with raw materials, you can see what you need to manufacture a product. And you could tie all of this information together into a supply contract with the people that supply your raw materials. So rather than realizing that you've run out of a particular material to produce the products that you need on the day, you should have been delivered by your raw material supplier the product so you can produce. So it's all about tying together your process with the people that actually want to sell you their products. So adding sensors into the production system, you could see how much actually moves between each individual stage. So you should have ideal times set to say that this stage takes X amount of time before it goes on to the next stage. Well, as information builds up, you will see that maybe a particular stage in the process is taking longer than it actually really should do. Well, that's giving you a warning to the fact that something may fail. And that may be the driver to drive some investment to buy some new machinery to keep up the ideal optimum speed through the process. And with a simple linear process, most stations depend on each other. So you're not only affecting the process that you're trying to deliver in that station, you're also affecting the overall capability of the whole system to create product. So you need to measure wastage. So how much weight of wastage do you have? How many times does your reject bin open? All of those indications are not direct measurement of wastage, but they can help you ascertain what is going on in the process. The same with rejects. You just need to have some sort of measure of what is being rejected, and then once you understand that as a proportion of the total product being produced, that will give you a wastage figure that you should try and reduce. Putting sensors in the finished product area could be the simple fact that once the pallet is ready and palletized and packed, if the finished area is not free and the endpoint distribution is not free, you are blocking the whole process. So that's taken even more time. So finally, making all of this data available as appropriate information rather than individual pieces of paper. So why employ a manually intensive system and replace it with a manually digital system? What you want to do is to try and get all of the information in one place and displayed correctly to make management decisions. So in summary, if you can take laborious, unpleasant and unprofitable tasks away from humans and give them something better to do, you enhance their productivity. But also you make them happier. Happy workforce, more productivity, happy boss. Maximising the uptime. If you understand the cause of the downtime, you can make investment decisions so that you can then decide whether to invest or not. If you use algorithms to analyse data and distribute the appropriate information in real time, decisions can be made about replacing operatives and placing them in the right place. And by that, you make people feel more valued. And at the end, we all become winners. And if we all win, we go make more profit, we can afford pay rises, and in turn makes people feel more happy and valued. So as a thank you for listening and surviving to the end, we would like to offer you an IoT innovation that will change the world for free. A smart cookie jar. So just give my colleagues your business card and we will program one for you. So that's the end, and thank you very much for listening.